Today we have Larry North presenting a seminar on stress management. If you have any questions about the seminar, please submit your questions using the Q&A function, or you can wait until the end of the seminar and submit them through the survey. Welcome, Larry.
Hey, thank you. I was so excited to get started. I just almost jumped over you there. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to our WebEx. My name is Larry North, and just real quickly, I've written 3 books, Get Fit, Living Lean, and Slim Down for Life, and I've been doing WebExes and seminars and presentations like this for a very long time, and I'm just honored and excited to be able to present to you on learning to manage stress. And this will be about a 20-minute presentation followed by some Q&A. And I'll tell you, this time of year, I often say that there's a lot of stress, and especially in my area and arena of weight reduction and health and fitness and wellness, that food isn't the issue. Life often gets in the way, and it's real important, I think, at the very top of this presentation that we discuss, what really does cause stress? What are the things that bring stress in our life? And, for example, negative and positive life events. It's not always a negative life event. Sometimes it could be a positive life event that just brings overwhelming stress. Let me give you some examples. Ever prepare for maybe your oldest daughter getting married, like a wedding? That's a great thing, but it's also a stressful thing. A loss of a job, stress, illness, death, global events, just finding out that there's a recession, even if it doesn't affect us immediately, that adds stress to our lives. How about those that maybe become empty nesters? It's a good thing, kids are finally out, but all of a sudden there's some added stress and worry that comes about with that. Personal relationships. We all know that relationships can cause a tremendous amount of stress. A spouse, a significant other, a fight, parents. How about this time of year, just the whole family dynamics, even in my family, and I love them all, but we're hosting Thanksgiving at my house this year for the 3rd year in a row. It's going to bring about some stress. If you have kids, you can't help but have stress. I once heard a line from somebody said, you're as happiest as your most unhappiest child. And I really believe that to be true. No matter how good things are going in your life, if you have a kid that's under stress or duress, it affects all of us. Or even relationships with a coworker or even a very close friend. Those are some serious stress dynamics. In fact, it's very interesting. They used to say that divorce was the #1 leading stress in a person's life, followed by death. But now, new studies say that if you are actually taking care of someone that's dying is the #1 cause of stress. Nothing will aid you more than that. So our goal today is, how do we deal with that? How do we control that? And then you get into financial commitments, the rent, the mortgage, school loans, credit cards, credit ratings, holiday spending. It just all starts to add up. And then work, dealing with layoffs, deadlines, budgets, quotas. I think you guys get the picture. I think that there's certainly no question in our culture today, our fast-paced, moving lifestyle, that stress is never going to go away. And not all stress is bad. Sometimes like for example, I had a little bit of stress as I was about to do this webcast, but it's good. It's a good stress because I was excited and enthusiastic, but I also know that when I get back to my real world, there's stress that I need to deal with on a very daily basis. And they say that life generally won't put anything in front of you that you can't take care of, but the goal is to be able to take care of it. And, how do we manage the stress? Well, I always say you don't have to become a yogi, but let me tell you, yoga, meditation, exercise of any kind, be it a kickboxing class, Pilates, spin, even sometimes a 10-minute walk around your campus can be a de-stressor. So I'm a big, huge fan of any type of exercise is good exercise, not just what it'll do for your body, but what it'll do for your head. And I often say that physical fitness, it's definitely a top priority, but I actually, this time of year, I think emotional fitness is even a bigger priority. Develop support systems. And this basically means is that you want to surround yourself with people and mechanisms that help you. For example, there are people that give energy. You know what I'm talking about. They just give you energy. You look at them, they smile, they giggle, they laugh. You ask, how are you doing? They say, fantastic. And then there's those that suck energy from us. just the mere hello from them over the telephone can suck energy, because they tend to be negative, and they tend to be naysayers, and they tend to not be supportive in your goals, in your quest, in your ideas. And it's a good idea to reduce the amount of energy suckers that are in your life. And I know this is going to sound so cliche-ish, but good nutrition. I'm such a believer in being a food carrier, especially in a work environment. And what that implies is that you carry good, healthy food with you wherever you go. You have food in your office refrigerator, food at your desk, wherever it is. And that you also become an expert in knowing how to make the best food choices when you do eat out, be it in a Mexican restaurant, an Italian restaurant, a Chinese restaurant. These little things that you do to order a little bit healthier and eat a little bit better, believe it or not, I think when you look and feel good, stress doesn't count as much. But when you don't feel you look good, I see it every day in my business. Someone hops on a scale, it's a few pounds less than they thought. Whoa, they're in a great mood. It's 2 pounds higher than they thought, and oh my gosh, you can see just the shoulders start to droop, and they almost want to run out of the gym and go home and eat pie or something. And you don't want that to happen. Take care of yourself. And what I mean by take care of yourself, it's okay. This is worth writing down. If there's any bit of take-home value from this WebEx today, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to be selfish. When you take the time to say, okay, at 7 o'clock, that's my workout time. At 12 o'clock, that's my healthy lunch time. At 6 o'clock tonight, that's my pedicure, manicure, reflexology time. Be selfish, because I am a believer, and everything I've ever learned or read is that how can you take care of the people you love if you don't take care of yourself? So please take charge and take care of yourself. Now, taking charge of your time is essential during the holidays, and because what do you hear all the time? I don't have time. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do anything. And here's what's interesting. I'm going to ask you a question right now. What do you call a 40-hour work week? Part-time employment. In today's world, that's part-time employment. Everyone I know that works, we wish we could work 40 hours, right? Some people are working 50, 60. I bet some of you on this call right now are working 2 jobs and still sometimes just making ends meet just to put food on the table. And I respect that. But be a brilliant time manager. It's great to read the paper and read magazines, but do it while you're on a treadmill. Facebook, it's fun. I love Facebook, but it's a time waster. If I can do my Facebook on my handheld while I'm on an exercise bike, then all of a sudden the time goes by a little bit faster. So you have to think, and you know what, I love coffee. I love my coffee time, but I also know that my coffee time can be a waste of time and a waste of money. So by making coffee at home, having my coffee instead of driving to the coffee shop, and there's 30, 40 minutes out of my day that I don't necessarily need. And also, our younger people have actually created a time saver by texting versus calling, because you do save a lot of time as opposed to being on the phone with someone. So I think you get it. Manage that time. Resolve conflict. I happen to be the CEO of my own company, and the big joke in my company is I don't ever write anything down, because you know why? I take care of it right then and there. If the treadmill's not working, I'm going to make sure that someone's going to get it working right today, right now. If I have a problem to solve with a customer, I solve it right then. Often, at times, when it comes to resolving conflict, and this is the truth, a lot of the times if you sweep these problems under the rug, do you know what? They actually go away sometimes. But sometimes they exacerbate. And that little problem that you could have solved right then and there can sometimes become a really big problem. So my suggestion is that you solve the problems as quickly and as upfront as you can. Real quickly, too, is developing the support system. And this is really great information, because quite often if we are struggling and we have stress, we've got a personal problem, we've got an issue, regardless of what it is. Here are the kind of people that you want to help you and that you need to have in your life, at least one person, someone that's a really good listener. And guys, I don't mean to discriminate. We're usually not as good of listeners as women. We tend to talk a lot. but sometimes honing those listening skills. And let me make a really good suggestion here. If you have a problem and you need help with the problem and you want to discuss it with somebody that you trust, it's important that you establish right away that this is a confidential conversation, and I trust that you're not going to repeat this to anybody. But before you say anything or give me any advice, let me finish my entire thought. This way I'm not interrupted and I can actually articulate my problem to its full length. And by saying that at the front end of a conversation, because here's what happens. When you have a problem, the people that love you, they want to help you. They want to get in and they want to help and they want to solve all your problems for you, and they interrupt you, and it breaks your thought pattern. And you also want people that are going to be honest with you, not people that are just going to tell you what you want to hear or just sort of enable you when you have a problem. No, people that give you honest feedback, people that are tremendously supportive, that have no personal vested interest in what you have to solve, and also people that are nurturing. Because, listen, come on, we're having a tough time. It's holidays. We're dealing with financial issues and a whole other slew of problems that can occur. You do want a little bit of nurturing, and above all, you want people that respect your decision, and you want people that also don't tell you what to do. So when you do look for advice, I think it's important that people don't point a finger and say, you need to do this, because let me tell you something. How does that work with your kids? No one likes to be told what to do, and nobody wants to be parented. So hopefully when you do share your problems with someone that does listen and provide honest feedback and supportive and nurturing, they also will respect the fact that you want to get good feedback but don't tell you what to do. Let me move on. And plan, prioritize daily. I always suggest that in your day timer, in your handheld, however it is you keep your appointments, at least once a week, put all your appointments down. I remember years ago that I would actually put all the workouts in for the entire week in one day. This way it prioritizes my fact that I'm going to get my workout in. Focus on one project at a time. I guarantee that a majority of the people on this call, see, I already know that you're energy givers. And how I know this is energy givers seek information. They want knowledge. One bit of take-home can enlighten their day. Energy suckers typically don't need this presentation because they've already read it, they know it, they even wrote it. So that being said, multitaskers tend to try to do a lot of different things. If you were going to clean your house, would you clean the tub in the bathroom and not do the rest of the bathroom and go start on the kitchen? You do one thing at a time in your life. And so the same thing is with your own personal projects. Get one thing done, get that checklist off, and go back to doing what you need to do. And also, this is a real important one, is knowing your peak time. I know my peak time. When I'm going to clean the garage for my fall cleaning, I do it in the morning. If I don't do it at 6, 7, 8 o'clock, it's not going to get done because I'm a peak performer in the morning. If you know your peak time, if it's the afternoon, if you're an evening person, that's when you should schedule the things that are most prioritized and most important to you. And above all, do not procrastinate. Set personal deadlines for yourself, personal goals, personal budgets. Create a business plan for your own personal life so that you can stick to it. And above all, write the goals down, because it's a fact that those that do write the goals down have a much, much higher percentage of actually accomplishing the goals versus just randomly thinking of the goal. Reward yourself. Reward yourself. This is one of the biggest problems, especially this time of year. We don't take the time to pat ourselves on the back. We don't celebrate the small victories, and there are plenty of victories worth celebrating. So definitely, from this point forward, think of a small victory that would be worth celebrating in your life, whether it's you hit your budget or whether you paid all your bills. You paid all your bills early. Congratulations. Celebrate. Do something good for yourself. and reward yourself. And you can reward yourself in so many different ways, from, just taking a yoga class or getting a massage is a great de-stressor. I go to a place that's open till midnight, and all they do is reflexology, and that's my little reward to myself, that when I've done something good and I feel like, you know what, I deserve that. I even said earlier, a manicure, a pedicure, just even a healthy meal, and staying organized, and also delegating. I remember taking an economics class many, many years ago, and I'll never forget where the professor said that if you had someone that you could delegate to, and if they just did 5% of what you needed done, that's 5% less than what you need to do. So don't be afraid to delegate. You don't want to over-delegate, but at the same time, you do want to be able to be a masterful delegator, because let me ask you this question, and I want you all to be honest with me. If I were to say, are you the person that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done? Raise your hand right now, because I bet there's plenty of you. I've got one in my office that just raised her hand. Well, guess what? There's something wrong with your organization. You should never have that happen. You should be able to surround yourself with people that get things done, that do it right, do it the first time, and don't be the one that's so controlling that you don't trust other people. Sometimes you have to give people a little bit of latitude. In our organization, we call it 10 steps forward, 4 steps backwards is still 6 steps forward. So that it's okay to make a mistake now and then, but you can't. You must allow people to have that opportunity to be able to make a mistake. Also, when it comes to taking care of yourself, man, it's hard. Tell a perfectionist to avoid being a perfectionist. It's really hard. Luckily for me, I'm not one, but I have a lot of them in my life. And just know that we're not living in a world of perfect. We live in a world of progress, and I'll give you a great example. When it comes to eating healthy and exercising, don't ever strive for perfection, because you're never going to get there. Nobody eats perfectly, but if we eat better and make progress, we'll be that much ahead of the curve. And this is a biggie. Engage in positive self-talk. Did you know, this is a great statistic, did you know that 90% of the time you talk to yourself, it's negative? That goes for everybody. That's me included. So you have to practice and train yourself to sort of be a fighter, to think positively, to think like a winner, to tell yourself good positive reinforcement, to become confident. You have to have positive self-talk. And when you're confident and you have a little bit of swagger and you feel good about yourself, I'm not saying your stress will go away. You just can handle it better. The effect of being a workaholic is as taxing on your body. If you are a self-admitted workaholic, it is as taxing on your body as any other addiction, be it gambling, be it drug addiction, be it alcoholism, be it overeating. It's still an addiction and should be addressed, because being a workaholic is definitely going to add to your stress levels. And vary in work and play activities, I think, are obvious. Being able to relax. Some people just can't. And rest and recuperation are as important as physical activity itself. Did you know that the average person is supposed to get 7 hours of sleep per day? 7 hours of quality sleep, by the way. And you think about it. Go back in time. Before the invention of electricity, the sun would go down. We'd go to bed. We'd go to sleep. We'd sleep for 10 hours. Then we'd start our day again. Life was pretty boring before electricity. Well, it's not boring anymore. And plus, with anxiety and not being able to stress, did you know that the number one prescribed drugs in this country have to do with sleepy aids? So please try to force yourself to relax. I actually go to a float tank where I float in Epsom salt and Dead Sea salt, and it puts me in a state of sort of a sensory deprivation, where it forces me to relax, or do activities that force you to relax, whether it's have a ski trip, because when you ski down the mountain, you can't think of anything but skiing down the mountain, and things like that, and as well as exercise and eating well, which are sort of obvious, which I did mention. And take that time to relax, schedule decompression time. The number one stress reliever is laughter. having a sense of humor. And I'll tell you, I grew up like maybe some of you did. My dad was a compulsive gambler, and he was in and out of prison in the early stages of my life. And I will tell you this, in the worst of worst times, both my parents taught me at a very young age to have a sense of humor. Sometimes you just have to laugh at things and not take things so seriously. And if you can carry that over now, and the people that love you the most, if they see you laugh, they will laugh. Laughing is contagious. If you can smile, even when you're not in the best of moods. In our organization, we know that the most commonly asked question is, how are you? And we pretty much insist that you have to say great, spectacular, splendid, superb. You can't say okay, all right, don't ask, you don't want to know, because most people don't want to know. But if you force yourself to say great 30 times a day, by the end of the day, you actually go, I'm doing pretty great. And you train yourself to do that. Avoid the happy hour trap, especially this time of year. I think it's very easy after work, go have a few drinks, and it's easy to do that. And just practice relaxation techniques and come and participate on 20-minute WebExes just like this, because the more knowledge and information you have, the easier it is to be able to tackle your problems and get great results. And this is pretty much self-explanatory too, taking small steps. Do one thing differently, even if it's drive a different way to go to work sometimes can just change things up, because if you don't like change, well, get used to it, because we're in an ever-changing society and world like never before. And make the easy changes first. Assess enjoyment levels and results, and above all, be patient and hopefully be happy as well too. When is it time to seek professional help under stress? I always say if you even question it, it's probably time. It really is. Obviously, medical conditions, the thought of, God forbid, of you harming yourself or others. If you get to that point where you just can't perform simple tasks, I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there where we don't want to go to the gym, we don't want to work out, we don't even want to wake up out of bed. And when you are in that state, maybe it's time to seek help over and above just supportive people in your life. Symptoms of anxiety disorders or panic attacks, and sometimes if you may not even know you're having one, but for example, if you get skin irritations or rashes, or if you find that you're getting migraine headaches, and if you find that you just are avoiding any type of confrontation whatsoever because you're afraid you'll blow up, that might be time to seek some help. And exhaustion of all your options, if you've tried just about everything. I know some companies offer coaches and people that you can talk to. Your company may offer that. If not, find resources and people that you can talk to that can offer some really great, outstanding professional advice. And I know we're getting close to wrapping this up. And I have to tell you, I've been watching the attendees, and I don't think anyone's even jumped off this line, and 20 minutes has gone by so quickly. I just hope in my heart of hearts is that you got one or two bits of take home. I know I've talked rather rapidly throughout this presentation, but I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for you to take time out of your day to actually listen to what I had to say on stress management, and I just thank you. And so if you have any questions, please submit them. And on my end, this does conclude the WebEx, and we'll see if we have time for a couple questions.
Thanks, Larry. Actually, we do have a couple of questions before you go. We have some questions that were submitted, and our first one, you said that physical inactivity is a trigger for stress and that being more active will help me better manage my stress. However, I don't have 2 hours in my day to make it to the gym for an hour workout. Do you have any suggestions?
I do, actually. And one of the big myths is that it actually takes 2 hours a day to get the results that you want, or to even just have some stress relief. It doesn't. You can break your day. If you can work out 2.5 hours a week, and that would be 30 minutes a day 5 times a week, but you can actually, it gets even better. You could even break up that 30 minutes into 2 or 3 sessions in one day. So, for example, maybe in the morning before work, you walk around the block for 10 minutes. When you get to work, maybe you go up and down a few flights of stairs or walk the campus, and then maybe that evening, if you're going to the mall to go shopping, walk for 10 10 minutes before you even go shopping, and there is your stress reliever. So it's a great question, but I promise you, you do not need 2 hours a day ever to get the maximum results that exercise gives you, both physically and emotionally.
Great, and I think we have time for just one more. When I'm
Okay.
stressed out, all I want to do is eat, specifically chocolate or fast food. How do I control my temptation?
Well, it's a great question. I think that applies to a lot of people that tuned into our WebEx today. And like I said at the top of the presentation, food is rarely the problem this time of year. Life is generally the problem. But one of the reasons you'll crave things that are sweet or chocolate or crunchy or salty is often at times because you didn't eat enough throughout the day. So you get to that point where you could almost suck a cheesecake through a cocktail straw. You're so hungry by the end of the day because you forgot to eat, or you didn't have time to eat, or you just had to get through work and weren't able to get the normal meals. So the suggestion I have is, if you do become a food carrier, and that's someone that does carry healthy food with them pretty much all the time, and get at least 2 or 3 meals in before your evening meal, that should minimize the cravings. And also know that there's some better bad choices that you could have, such as a sugar-free, fat-free frozen fudge bar versus premium ice cream, or even some fat-free candies versus some high-fat candies. And nowadays, even going into your healthier grocery stores where they have better choice chocolates that can actually have some health benefits.
Thank you, Larry. Well, we've run out of time for today. We weren't able to get to all of your questions, but we do have them noted, and we will post them with Larry's responses on the portal. So don't forget to check back and review the questions, or even watch a recording of this webinar. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again for our next webinar.